Unit 214, your son's battalion. They were sent to die.
The words hit Kazu like a physical blow. His instruments clattered to the stone floor as he stared at the bloodied spy. For 2 decades, he had been the Inquisition's surgeon. Pain was a tool, and precision was his creed.
It can't be. Not Taro, not his unit.
He left the cell without a mark on the prisoner. The instruments remained in their rows, untouched. The refusal reached General Aldrich within the hour, and his fury was a contained storm.
He refused a direct command. That spy is the key to our campaign, and he walks away. Suspend his clearance immediately. Post guards at his quarters. He is not to leave the grounds without my explicit permission.
Kazu felt the guards' eyes like needles. Every corridor was a cage now, but his mind was already outside.
The archives hold the truth. I have to get in there before they realize what I am after.
That night, Kazu slipped past the guards using a pass he'd kept from years ago. It opened a back stairwell to the archives.
They'll check this route soon. I have minutes at best.
The archive room was a tomb of forgotten paper. Dust coated the shelves, and the lantern cast long, restless shadows.
Battalion 214. Where are your service records, Taro?
His fingers traced the brittle spines of ledgers until they stopped on a thick volume marked with the unit seal. It was an execution log, heavy with official stamps, and the scent of old ink. The kind of book that held final judgments.
Don't open it. But he had no choice.
He lifted the cover, the binding creaking like a warning, and his eyes fell upon rows of names.
Every name here is a death warrant, including his, if I am not wrong.
Kazu's breath stopped. The first entry swam before his eyes, but he forced himself to read on. His fingers stopped on a name. Taro, son of Kazu. The words blurred for a moment before sharpening into an unbearable clarity.
My boy, my only son, not fallen in battle, executed.
The charge read, disciplinary sacrifice. Refusal to obey a fabricated command. They had killed him for his honor.
A false order. Taro refused to march into a trap, so they erased him. And who gave that order? His eyes moved to the bottom of the document. General Aldrich's signature. The same man who demanded I break lice.
The date predated the ambush. The battalion had been marked for slaughter before they even took the field.
It wasn't a defeat. It was a purge, and Aldrich signed it.
Grief twisted into something colder. He needed proof, the full order, the ambush map. This was only the first page.
They'll kill me if they know I've seen this, but I'm not leaving without the truth.
Kazu moved deeper into the archive, his lantern throwing jagged shadows. In a locked drawer, he found the tactical maps for Battalion 214.
Deployment orders. Every route marched, every position held, the whole campaign drawn out.
A thick red X marked a canyon pass. The battalion's last known position. The ambush site was circled in the general's own hand.
They were marched directly into a trap. No support, no retreat. This wasn't a battle. It was an execution.
A note scrawled in the margin read, by Treaty Clause C, no witnesses. Unit designated expendable. The signature matched Aldrich.
A secret treaty. They traded 500 soldiers, my son among them, for a line on a paper.
He folded the map carefully, his movements mechanical. The execution log and this map, 2 halves of a death warrant.
If anyone finds these on me, I am a dead man. But if I do nothing, they win, and Taro's murder stands unchallenged.
Footsteps echoed down the corridor. The night patrol. Kazu pressed himself against the shelves, heart pounding.
I have proof. Now I need an ally, or I won't survive long enough to use it.
In the dead hours before dawn, Kazu descended to the cells. The lone guard looked away as he slid inside.
I knew you'd be back. The boy looked just like you. Same eyes.
How do you know about my son? About the unit?
I was sent to uncover your general's secret treaty. I found the ambush plans before they caught me.
He's telling the truth. The same treaty I saw in the archive.
Aldrich, Voss, Renier. Those three planned it all. They're the ones who signed your son's death warrant.
They gave me the order to break you. The same hand that killed my son.
My brother was in that battalion. I came here for justice, not just intelligence.
For a long moment, the torturer and the spy simply looked at each other. Two fathers, two sons, one lie.
I will copy the documents tonight. Tomorrow, I'll find a way to get them before the Queen's Council.
Back in his quarters, Kazu laid the documents on his desk. His hands, once a surgeon's tools, traced every line with a copying pen.
Every pen stroke could be my death warrant, but the truth weighs more than fear.
He slipped the copies into a diplomatic pouch and pressed the royal seal he'd kept from his Inquisitor days.
This pouch can topple the command, but how do I get it past Aldrich's watchers?
Under the guise of a final interrogation, he returned to Lyse's cell. The spy's eyes flicked to the hidden pouch.
You have the proof, but you can't walk into the palace. Aldrich's men will cut you down at the gate. There's a prisoner network, bribed guards, forgotten tunnels. If I am free, I can guide you through.
Free an enemy spy, commit treason to expose treason. There's no coming back from this. You are asking me to trust you with my life, the kingdom's future, and my son's memory.
I am asking you to trust the one person who hates Aldrich as much as you do.
That same night, General Aldrich summoned his adjutant with a face like chiseled stone.
The torturer has grown too curious. Execute the spy at dawn. No delays.
He signed the order with a slashing stroke, then added, "Double the watch on Kazu." He's not to leave his quarters. Within the hour, Kazu found his door blocked by armed guards and a new shadow trailing his every step.
Aldrich knows. He's cutting off all my paths. Lyse will be dead by sunrise.
From a trusted orderly, Kazu learned the grim details. Transfer for immediate execution. No further interrogation.
They're not even pretending anymore. He's using it as a weapon against me.
The deadline was absolute. If he didn't free Lyse tonight, the pouch would never reach the council.
I have no choice. One enemy spy for the truth. That's the trade.
He began to plan, his mind cold and precise. The prison tunnels couldn't be navigated alone. He needed Lyse. Kazu slipped through the darkened dungeon with a purpose that would hang him if caught.
Aldrich signed your execution for dawn. We leave now, or not at all.
Then you've made your choice. The tunnels beneath the east wall run to the outer ward. I can guide us.
The key turned in the ancient lock with a sound that seemed to echo like a bell.
I just freed an enemy agent. Every step forward is treason. There's no returning.
We'll need a diversion at the guard post. Fire or noise. We split after the tunnel.
Agreed. You take the east tunnel to the outer wall. I'll head for the palace district.
A glance between them held a fragile truce. Then they slipped into the corridor like ghosts.
I am staking everything on a spy's word, but his hate for Aldrich is as real as mine.
Together, torturer and spy stepped into the unknown dark, the pouch heavy against Kazu's chest. They had barely entered the east tunnel when a distant shout echoed from the cell block. The alarm bell began to toll. The clangor spread through the fortress like a wave, every guard springing to action. Torches flared in the corridors ahead. Their escape was discovered. Boots thundered down the passageways, cutting off every route.
They found the empty cell. We need to move faster, but they'll be at the fork before we can both clear it.
We can't outrun them together. If I go alone, the pouch might reach the council. But leaving him...
Without hesitation, Lyse grabbed a torch and hurled it onto a pile of old straw. Flames erupted, licking the stone walls and cutting off pursuit.
Go, deliver that pouch. I'll hold them here. My brother's soul will rest if Aldrich falls.
Lys.
But Lys was already lost in the smoke and clashing steel, his diversion buying precious seconds. The fire roared between them like a final promise kept.
He gave me this chance. I won't waste it. For Taro, for Lys, for all of them.
Kazu burst from the tunnel into a lashing rain. The storm swallowed the fortress alarms and muffled his steps.
Every guard in the city will be on alert. I have to reach the palace before they tighten the net.
A patrol appeared ahead, torches hissing in the rain. Kazu pressed himself into a doorway, holding his breath.
They're searching door to door. I can't stay hidden.
He detoured through a maze of alleys, scaling a slippery garden wall to bypass a guarded square.
Almost there. The palace district is just beyond this wall.
A second patrol cut him off at the next turn. He ducked behind a stack of crates, his heart hammering. The patrol passed. Kazu slipped into the merchant quarter, using the shuttered stalls as cover.
My legs are burning, but I can see the gate torches. Just a few more blocks.
He stumbled into the palace square, drenched and gasping. The great gates loomed, crossed halberds barring the way. The guards crossed their halberds, the steel glinting in the rain. Kazu staggered forward, the pouch raised high.
I demand to speak with Councillor Vane. This pouch bears the royal seal, a matter of treason against the crown.
The gate sergeant eyed him with suspicion. The counselor is not woken for every sopping refugee who waves a satchel.
Then wake her. I have in my hand the proof that General Aldrich butchered a full battalion to hide a secret treaty.
The sergeant's expression flickered. Aldrich's name and the royal seal together carried weight enough to risk his superior's anger. He gestured to a younger guard. Fetch the counselor. If this is a false alarm, it's my head and his.
Minutes feel like hours. If Aldrich's men catch up, I won't leave this square alive.
The rain drummed on the cobblestones. The sergeant kept his hand on his sword hilt, watching for any trick.
If she refuses me, or takes Aldrich's side, I am a dead man, but I've come too far to run now.
Every distant shout from the city made him flinch. The messenger hadn't returned. The night held its breath. The side door of the gatehouse clanked open. Councillor Vane stepped out, silver hair plastered by rain, her sharp eyes dissecting Kazu at a glance.
The royal seal? Hand it over. If this is a lie, you will regret every drop of rain you've worn.
Kazu placed the pouch in her palm. His fingers trembled, not from cold, but from the weight of everything it carried. She broke the seal, unfolded the documents, and began to read. The first page made her breath catch. By the second page, her face had gone pale with fury. Her voice cut the air like a blade.
Aldrich, Voss, Rainier, signed and sealed. They murdered a battalion for a treaty. Summon the royal guard. Arrest warrants for all 3 generals to be executed immediately. No one warns them. This man is under my protection. Set a guard on him. If anyone lays a hand on him, they'll answer to the Queen.
She believed me. It's done. Taro's name will be known for what it is, murder, not discipline.
Vane's orders rippled outward. Messengers ran. Boots clattered on stone. The night had shifted, and the general's downfall had begun. In his quarters, General Aldrich was roused by the crash of his door. Royal Guard poured in, torches blazing, swords drawn.
What is the meaning of this? I am a general of the realm. You have no authority here.
The guard captain thrust a warrant bearing the Queen's seal before his eyes. Aldrich's protests died in his throat. By dawn, all 3 conspirators were in chains. The Queen's proclamation swept through the city. The battalion was murdered, and the traitors would face the council. Kazu stood in a quiet hall as an official handed him a letter sealed with the royal crest. It was his son's exoneration.
Taro, son of Kazu, fallen soldier, exonerated of all charges. He didn't die a coward, he died a hero.
The council chamber was packed. Aldrich, stripped of his rank, knelt in chains before those he once commanded. Vane read the charges aloud.
For the deliberate slaughter of Battalion 214, for the murder of 500 soldiers, including Taro, son of Kazu, you are guilty of treason.
Aldrich's face twisted, but no words came. The weight of his crimes finally settled. The guards dragged him away to await the Queen's final sentence.
It's over, Taro. I kept my promise. They'll never erase what you did.
A folded note arrived with the guard captain's seal. Lys had survived the fire, recaptured but alive, and the council had granted amnesty for his aid.
He's alive. After everything, he's alive. I need to see him.
He found Lys in a different cell, one with a barred window and a clean cot. The spy looked up as the doors swung open.
They told me what you did. The generals are finished, and my brother's name is cleared.
Your diversion at the tunnel, you gave me the chance. Without that fire, the pouch never would have reached Vane.
And you trusted an enemy spy. That took more courage than any blade. Your son would be proud.
So would yours. He died a soldier, not a number in a treaty. We gave them back their names.
A guard announced that Lys would be escorted to the border at noon, free to return home. Kazu nodded, a weight lifting.
This isn't goodbye. We're bound by blood not shared. My brother, your son, they'll know peace now.
Kazu watched him disappear down the corridor, the clatter of footsteps fading. The torturer and the spy had become something unexpected. Comrades, the military cemetery stood quiet under a pale sun. Kazu walked between the stones until he found Taro's name carved into weathered granite.
I couldn't come before. Not while his name was stained. Now I can finally face him.
He folded the exoneration letter and placed it at the base of the stone. Beside it, he set the old military badge Taro had worn with pride.
You once told me you'd serve with honor. You did. They tried to erase it, but the truth won.
He knelt, pressing his palm against the cold stone. The weight of years of silence seemed to lift.
Rest now, son. You aren't a disciplinary case anymore. You are a hero.
He rose slowly, joints aching from more than age. The letter would stay here, but he would carry the memory forward.
I'll return, Taro. But for now, I've done what I came to do.
The sun broke through the clouds as he walked. For the first time in months, the world felt less like a cage and more like an open road. He did not look back. The old torturer's hands, once instruments of pain, had finally brought justice. The Queen's Council convened in full ceremony. Shadows clung to the high stone walls as Councillor Vane rose, the incriminating documents in hand.
These records, signed and sealed, prove beyond doubt that Generals Aldrich, Voss, and Renier orchestrated the murder of Battalion 214.
Aldrich knelt in chains before the assembly, his medals stripped, his face a mask of exhausted defiance.
By unanimous verdict of this council, you are guilty of treason. Your ranks are forfeit, your names erased from the rolls of honor.
From a shadowed alcove at the back, Kazu watched. His hands, still stained with old work, rested quietly at his sides.
The wheels of justice grind slow, but they grind. Taro, you hear this. They are being erased, not you.
Aldrich's lips moved, but no sound came. The weight of the council's contempt was a sentence worse than any cell.
Battalion 214 is posthumously awarded the Crown's Valor. Every soldier exonerated. Their families will be notified. This conspiracy ends.
The guards hauled Aldrich away, his fellow conspirators already in chains. The hall began to empty, murmurs of relief and vindication. Kazu remained, the last to leave after the room had stilled. The system had changed, but his chapter was yet unwritten. At the kingdom's edge, Lys stood unchained for the first time in months. The distant hills of his homeland shimmered beyond the checkpoint. A guard handed him a slip of paper and a charcoal stub. By order of the council, you may send one message, he wrote carefully, the charcoal scratching against the paper. The message was brief, meant for one man alone. The note read, "We both lost brothers to their lies. Let this be the end." He folded it and passed it to the escort. That evening, a messenger found Kazu in his Spartan quarters. He unfolded the paper with steady hands.
Let this be the end. Lys kept his word, and now he is free. I should be, too.
Kazu folded the note into his tunic, close to his chest. The alliance had ended, but its purpose was fulfilled. Before crossing, Lys knelt at a simple stone marker, his brother's grave, now honored with a small military plaque.
Sleep well, brother. The lie is broken. We are both free now.
He rose, shouldered his pack, and walked into his homeland. The border gate closed behind him, but the door between two enemies had already opened. An official from the council intercepted him, a velvet box and a rolled parchment in hand. The box contained a silver medal. The scroll offered reinstatement as the Inquisition's master, with full honors.
They want me to return to that chamber, to those instruments. I can't. Thank the council, but I decline. Give the medal to the families who lost their sons.
The official sputtered, but Kazu turned away and walked toward the gates without another word. The morning sun broke through the clouds, casting long golden light and dissolving the last shadows of the storm.
For 20 years, these walls were my world. Now they're just stone.
He passed through the gate and stepped onto the open road that led away from the capital, toward the quiet hills.
Taro would have liked this silence. No orders, no lies, just the road ahead.
He didn't glance back. The old torturer walked forward into a morning that he had earned. As Kazu walked, his hand drifted to his pocket. The badge Taro once wore was still there, cool and solid. Years ago, on a bright morning like this one, he stood with his son in the recruitment square.
Father, look, I am really a soldier now.
The uniform was still crisp, the badge pinned a little crooked, just like his eagerness.
Stand straight. A soldier's pride is in his spine.
Kazu reached out and straightened the badge over his son's heart, his touch gentle for a man of his trade.
I'll make you proud, Father. I swear it.
The memory dissolved like morning frost, leaving only the distant road and the weight in his pocket.
You never had to swear it, Taro. You always did.
A faint smile touched the old torturer's lips as he walked on, the badge a silent promise kept. The torture chamber stood empty. Its chains coiled on the floor like dead snakes. The tray of polished instruments had been packed into a wooden crate, sealed with a council seal. Morning light poured through the high slit window, where once only torch smoke lingered. Kazu's quarters were bare, the cot, the desk, the small shelf, all stripped of his presence. A freshly posted notice on the wall read, "By decree of the Queen's Council, the Royal Inquisition is under reform." No boots echoed in the corridor. The stone remembered, but the weight had lifted. Servants carried out the last of the instruments, their faces more relieved than any prisoners. The door to the chamber closed with a soft thud, and the lock clicked into place. The old torturer's legacy was not in the walls, but in the truth he had dragged into the light, and the chamber, for the first time in 20 years, was silent. truly silent. Spring came gently to the military cemetery, softening the edges of old grief with new grass and white blossoms. Fresh flowers lay at the base of Taro's stone, left by a comrade, perhaps, or a grateful stranger. The carved letters had weathered softly, but the name Taro remained clear, framed by a new, polished military plaque. The exoneration letter, still folded at the base, had been protected from rain by the overhanging branch of a young cherry tree. Nearby, a larger memorial had been raised, a stone pillar listing the names of all 500 soldiers of Battalion 214. Taro's name was among them, no longer a disciplinary sacrifice, but a fallen hero of the Crown's valor. The old military badge, Kazu, had left still rested against the granite, tarnished but unbroken. A honeybee landed softly on the flowers, then lifted into the bright air, indifferent to the weight the stone carried. No one knelt there that morning. No voice spoke. But the silence was filled with the scent of spring and the echo of restored honor. And the stone, like the man who had fought for its truth, stood peaceful in the sun, far from the capital, where the roads turned to dirt and the hills rolled green. Kazu walked. The sun hung low at his back, casting a long shadow before him.
I haven't read Lysa's words since that night. Maybe it's time.
He stopped beside a weathered fence and drew out the folded note. Its edges were soft from days against his heart.
We both lost brothers to their lies. Let this be the end. He kept his word, and so did I.
He folded the paper along its worn creases and slipped it back into his tunic, close to the badge that never left him.
The knot in my chest has loosened. Not gone, but bearable.
In the distance, a small village nestled among the hills. Smoke curled from chimneys, promising warmth and respite.
A quiet life. Maybe I can learn to live with that.
He walked on, the tall grass swaying around him. The last light gilded the edges of the world, and the road ahead was his own. His silhouette merged with the deepening twilight, a shadow no longer burdened by instruments of pain, but carried by the memory of honor.